Howdy and blessings to you. We're going to show you how to flash the bot bit, which is the trashbots TB1. This is the control card inside, and this is a low-level debugging. It's for developing on firmware, exploring with that. It's not for the everyday person, no doubt on that. The core part on in here, let me just look at this on this tool. What we're doing is we're going to show you how you take the hex file that comes out of the compiler and use a flashing tool in Simplicity Studio, and then program it with the Happy Gecko, which is a demo card, which has the JTAG programmer, or more aptly, the JLink in there, and how that programs to the board. To look at a setup, and I've got this in the little viewfinder in the side there. This is our board. And there's an adapter, and this is what's that tagconnect.com. And at the end of the tagconnect.com, there's a 2x3 pogo base connector that's going to fit and mount, and you just push it onto the board. I get it in there. There you go. You'll line it up. You put it upside right. There we go. Fits in just directly on there. There are versions of it with the clip that'll hold it in, but when we're doing it over and over again, we don't use the clip, so we can just push it in, flash it, and go on. All right, let's look at the tool and how the parts are set up. Mechanics are pretty straightforward. All right, this is Simplicity Studio, last version. One key thing is if you are using a Happy Gecko card there, it's showing up. This is hooked up by USB. There's an important setting for the JLink connector. Oh, here it is. It's showing up on a board. By default, this board is, the board is going to debug and program the microprocessor that's on the board itself. To use it with an external one, the debug mode has to be set to out. So when this board comes from the factory, it's going to say MCU. So you want to change that. And once that's done, you're going to need to restart the board, probably Simplicity Studio as well. Those settings are stored on the board itself, though. So once the board that's change has been made, it'll come up that way every time. You could change it back if you wanted. All right, next part that's important to understand if you're actually compiling code and building it is by default, the code that you're going to build is going to have offset 0. And the hex file we have here is not set that way, and you don't want yours. Let me look at here. Oh, wait, I'll look at settings in here. If I'm going to look at properties, here at the bottom, properties. An important one is in settings under memory layout is the TBOS starts off at hex 4000. The before that section is the bootloader. I'll just show a little picture here. It shows that. The bootloader comes for each chip. The bootloader is there by default on the device when it comes from the factory. And that's what actually gives access to serial port and some debug options that are available here if it's powered up with the reset button turned on. Those are features we're not making use of right now. But it's real easy when you're programming it to accidentally make a sample program. And this, again, isn't the user level programming. This is if you're doing low level flashing. It's real easy to make one that actually programs at 0. If you do that, you've blown away the bootloader. That can be restored. Anyhow, so back to Simplicity Studio. All right, let's close up that setting. That's one. Move my monitor here. Okay, we don't even need to change the settings. We didn't do that. So for flashing, you don't actually have to do anything with the project if you have your hex file already. You can just jump straight to the hex tool or the flash programmer. And that was this little green icon right there. It's on the far right of that big block of tools. Let me set that aside. Here you go ahead and you go and browse and find the hex file you want to download onto the device. And I'm going to pick the one we have right here. It's got that long path, but if I look at the end one there, it is the hex file. And I just take that JLink part. We're going to hook it up, push it on the board. And when it's pushed on the board, you just hit the program and it's going to write it down there. As soon as it's written it down, the board reboots and you'll hear the sound. And that's one of that's our two-tone boot. So that's a sign that the board is all happy and good. And you can just, if you have a bunch of boards, you can just turn around and plug the next one on, hit program, and continue. That pretty much concludes what you need to know. I'll point one thing. This is the actual connector that we use. And so there's a spot on the board. That's tagconnect.com. You can have to make a special adapter that'll connect it to the Gecko board. All right. Blessings to you. Have a great day. Bye.